Welcome. We continue in our mimer, Yikra. That's interesting. Is it all on the channels? Okay. Okay. So the way the Torah is rooted in the essence of God, and there is the revelation of Torah on high. Torah in its glory on high, its revelation. This world is nothing. Torah, the way it is rooted in the essence of God, its only place is here, or its real place, at least, is here. And that's why the Alter Rebbe uses the metaphor of water. That water is in a high place on top of the mountain, comes down to the bottom of the mountain. So the way I always understood it is it's the same water on top of the mountain as it is at the bottom of the mountain. Meaning it's the same Torah, God's Torah, on top and on high as it is down here. There isn't a change. Yes, it speaks about material and physical things down here. And while up there, Torah is pure spiritual things. That's why you can study Torah the way it's studied in Gan Eden and study the way it is down here. Gan Eden, it's purely spiritual. Down here, it's enclosed in the physical, can have materialistic aspect to it, right? As you know, Pesach is coming. What's considered chametz? What's considered, non-chametz, leavened and unleavened, right? So the main place for in Revelation, the way it's learned in Gan Eden is much more lofty, but its ultimate purpose is down here. So the way I understood until this mimer, the metaphor in chapter 4 of Tanya, that the Alter Rebbe uses of water, is again top of the mountain and the bottom of the mountain. When it runs down the water, it's the same water. It's just, in other words, it's the same Torah, God's Torah. That's why we make the blessing when we have an aliyah to the Torah. Asher nasan lanu is Torah, that He gave us His Torah. Actually, we make that blessing every morning before we learn. Just a reminder before we start our studies every morning, should make the morning blessings. L'chaim. So that God gave us His Torah as water on top of the mountain, the same water at the bottom of the mountain. Here, the Rebbe takes the metaphor to a more profound meaning, and that is, where is water meant to be? By nature, water goes to the lowest level. It always flows down to the lowest level, right? So, is it meant to be on top of the mountain? No, meant to be at the bottom of the mountain. So, Torah, where's it meant to be? Down here in this world. That's its real place. That's its real place, is here, not above. On a revealed level, the manifest level, there it's much more lofty. It's a lower, lofty form of revelation of the Torah up there in the spiritual worlds, Gan Eden and beyond. But this is where it's meant to be. And that's the metaphor of water coming down here. Which is actually quite a phenomenal concept and idea when you think about it. Because we think of Torah being, a heavenly God's wisdom. So, God's wisdom, well, of course. And so it depends what you're talking about. As my teacher says, Sevenza vumeret. It depends what our context is, what the context of the discussion. So if we're talking about Torah, its revelation is greater on high. I guess you could say like the water on top of the mountain, is like, but ultimately its natural place to be is down here, because that's what water does, flow to the lowest place. Ultimately, it's meant to be down here because when down here, then you could drink that water, you could, swim in that water, bathe in that water, It's ultimately to be down here. So from God's perspective, from Atzmos, the essence of God's perspective, not from the revelation of Torah, the ultimate is that it's down here with us. So when the Alter Rebbe uses the metaphor that God, he contracted upon his wisdom and contracting upon his will and wisdom, brought down here Torah and gives a metaphor of water, right? So this is where it is, where it's meant to be. This is where it's, right, where it's from, again, from the vantage point of Atzmos. Now, we can add to this that in chapter 4 of Tanya, the Rebbe goes further in the Maimer and says, he says there, the Yemini Techapkeni, that God embraces us with his right hand. Right now, we're learning Torah. God's embracing us with his right hand. And he says that it's going on Torah because that's the aspect of chesed and mayim and water. Chesed, kindness. God's kindness. He embraces us with his right hand. Right is chesed. That's why when you give tzedakah as a righty, right, you give with your right hand. You give with your right hand. As right is kindness. So what did God give with his right hand? Torah. That's his kindness. But he says here that he embraces us with his right hand, as he's doing right now in our study of Torah. It is chesed, also mayim, that Torah is mayim. Now, in order to explain that the Torah is God's right hand, right? Metaphorically, it would have been enough to say the aspect of chesed, of kindness. You don't have to add water, right? The Torah is, why is that? Why add that? In other words, God is giving, extending. That's what you extend with your right hand. Left is you hold back, you refrain, gevura, right? You hold back, right? You extend and give. So um, to say that God is giving with his right hand Torah to us, in others embracing us with it, right? Giving us a royal hug. So it would be enough to say that that's the aspect of chesed, of kindness. But you have to add water, right? It's because the drawing down from above to below, the chesed, the kindness, when the person's giving, right, in an act of kindness, that giving is, of course, the giver is there in his giving, right? When you give to another, right? You feel the kindness of the one who's giving, obviously, right? But when you say water, then you're drawing down from above to below water. It's in a manner that it leaves that high place and is going specifically to a low place because that's where it kind of belongs. In other words, in the act of giving, there's always feeling about me, the giver, and you're feeling your value, your importance. After all, you're the one that's giving, right? Are you feeling about the place of where it's being given as much? No. You're feeling in the act of the giver giving, of being kind. The kind one is feeling their kindness because that's chesed. But in the metaphor, adding water now, it's actually to to minimize that point, and it's about where it needs to go. Because water, its rightful place or its natural place, its intended place is not on high. It's at the bottom, right? Meaning the main place of Torah is specifically down here. Even though Torah is found in all worlds, right? As mentioned, Torah is learned in Gan Eden and spiritual worlds above, but its main place is over here. In other words, the way Torah is in a revealed state, well, up there it's greater. Down here it's lesser. However, the way Torah is rooted in the essence of God, it's specifically meant to be down here. Now, just want to go back to that, like to take, I'm adding something that the Maimon is not saying over here, but I think it's an interesting, important point. In the act of giving, right? It's not really, ultimately, it's not about you, the giver. It's about the recipient that they get. So when, there's a certain feeling of being, whether you want to call it pride or you want to call it self-fulfillment, you feel, so nice I was able to help that person, right? That's the natural idea of a person giving. The giver feels that. But if ultimately it's not about that, but it's about the recipient getting, so it's not, you don't really sense, or you don't feel as much, at least, it's not as emphasized, my, you know, my sense of fulfillment in giving, but just happy that it got to the place where it needs to be received, that the receiver got. That's a very, much more powerful, real way of giving. And that's what God, he's giving us Torah. He's embracing us by giving us Torah, that making sure that it's down here, because this is where, as it's rooted in the essence of Torah, the essence of Torah is rooted in God, in the essence of God, the intended place is down here with us. And this then is, it says, Zeis Teira Adam. The verse says, this, the Torah, is Adam, person, right? So we explain Adam, I mean Adam, but here it doesn't mean Adam over here, it means a person, the highest level of personhood, where there's complete unity and oneness, right? There's no plural to the word Adam. Every other name of human has a plural to it, but not this name, because it's about the oneness. And yet, interesting, there's two aspects to why Adam is called Adam. The first man is called Adam, right? Now, why is Torah comparable to Adam? We started off the mimer, and it's really coming together. There are two components here of how we bring our offerings. I'm going to go there right now, but what's the power that we could bring an offering and have it cleave and connect to God? So there's two things. There is Adam, because we are bound up in one with God, as Adam is singular. There's no plural to it. So there's a oneness in, like two lights coming together. They're inherently connected. There's, as opposed to two vessels, right? Two vessels will never truly come together. So our job is to bring those vessels together of this world, of things. Things are separate, one thing from another. The soul isn't separate. It's one. So that gives us the power. But that's the inherent power that we have. And the way that we will realize that is because Torah is also like light and not a thing, right? It's God's wisdom, not a thing. And that gives us the power. Gives us the power, as we're explaining, Torah is light. So it gives us the light. And that's what we're explaining over here, because that Torah, it's meant to be down here because it's rooted. That's what God wants. It's rooted in the core essence of Him. And therefore, it's down here that when we study it and utilize it, and that it will give us the power, right? That we can then bring things of this world as an offering. But we're leaving that out right now, those things, right? But here we're bringing the two things together, the two great things that we have, who we are, and now who we are is Adam, right? But what is Adam? Torah. Zois Torah. Zois HaTorah. Adam. This is the Torah. Who's the Torah? Adam. Man. So two things are coming together now. That Torah is metaphor for the person. So just like in Torah, we had just two aspects to it. The way Torah is rooted in the essence of God, and the way Torah is in its revealed state, right? So on high, it's more revealed than it is down here. But what's its intended place? Even though it's higher revelation of Torah to the souls in Gan Eden than we have here. That's why they're tantalized by that revelation of Torah into their souls there. But this is where the intended place is. This is where we get the core essence of God, where God wants, right? Where we have the core essence of Him down here in Torah. So likewise, in Adam, we're going to have these two aspects. And what that means, you come back tomorrow. And if you can't sleep tonight because of this, you know what? Won't be the worst thing that'll ever happen to you. I just want to invite anybody who's not on Zoom or goes on social media, if you don't mind, go on YouTube rather than Facebook, because we're working on YouTube right now to be able to monetize. And if you watch on YouTube anything and everything of Tanya Rabbi, so it'd be youtube.com/Tanya Rabbi, anything and everything, the more hours that there is, the quicker, the more we get monetized, and the quicker we get it to be monetized. So if you don't mind, I see most people are on Facebook. That's wonderful, but it's okay. You can give Facebook a break and go on YouTube instead if it works out for you. Thank you.